Parliament is putting the final touches on new gender-based violence laws this weekend. The 3 amendment bills make sweeping changes to the way the criminal justice system deals with domestic violence in particular. A major sticking point has been whether or not a national sexual offenders registry should be made public. With just 7% of gender-based crimes being successfully prosecuted, how impactful will these new laws be? Lindsay Dentlicker finds out.
It was the brutal murder of Cape Town University student Uyenene Murachana in a post office that sparked nationwide outrage. Again, civil society rallied to demand lawmakers do more to protect women. Proposed changes will now allow police to remove a domestic violence suspect without a warrant. It will also be a crime for someone not to report a gender-based crime.
Having an electronic repository for all domestic violence protection orders and interim protection orders, I think that will really help, because very often women who may have to move jurisdictions then don't have any record of a previous protection order that they may have in their favour. The system doesn't pick it up.
The current acts, before the amendments were made, there was disability, but it was very limited. And with these amendments, disability has been broadened to include other forms of disability. Because so far, the victims who are people who are disabled have been silenced, really.
But the Justice Committee has retracted an original provision that would make the National Register for Sex Offenders public.
The bills have to pass constitutional muster, so the register will not be made public unless people apply to the registrar.
The Women's Legal Centre says this is the right decision.
Sometimes these public documents and the public knowledge leads to disastrous consequences. It has unintended consequences on victims, particularly child victims. Also, because we have such low conviction rates, and actually realistically probably the majority of people who are committing sexual offences are not on the register, would create a false sense of security.
But activists say the new laws won't be the silver bullet to reducing gender-related crimes.
In cases which are not extremely severe, keeping a person in prison for a longer period of time doesn't necessarily guarantee that they will be rehabilitated. It doesn't solve the problem of SGBV or make a victim feel safer in practice. I think it is a false premise that punishment and controlling a person that's incarcerated can address our social societal problems.
Nuho Drachen says the new bills could be tabled for adoption in the National Assembly as early as next week. Lindsay Dentlinger, Cape Town.